Hey guys, Squirrely here. Today I wanted to give you guys a guide on how you can play dual strike of ambidextery on Champion in the new league coming up here, 3.26. I PoB'd a pretty good looking version of the build of using, to start, Frostbreath plus Ichimonji. I was just testing with a different sword, but Ichimonji is pretty good. So use both of these together, plus a Perseverance belt, and pretty much just decent rares, nothing crazy. But you can hit up to 6.7 mil damage pretty easily. Flasks up, and yeah, it looks pretty good, honestly. So, but I'll show you guys kind of the PoB. The PoB is actually pretty detailed. I have like level 1 to 12 gems and leveling and everything is loadouts for each thing. So what we're going to be doing is leveling as Thunder to at least level 60 or 70 probably before we swap over to dual strike of ambidextery. So the thing is with dual strike of ambidextery is, of course, you have to get it from lab, or you could buy it from someone, but I don't know how much it's going to be. Probably it's not going to be a meta skill. I don't think it might be a little meta. I think that maybe it's going to be like maybe 1% of the player base playing it. So it might cost, you know, 5-10 C to start. I don't know. So if you just want to buy it, you can, but you could also just farm it from lab. But if you want to buy it and you don't have the C yet, then you can just keep using Sunder. Sunder's totally fine. But yeah, there's fully detailed PoB for leveling up as Sunder. You know, the path that I recommend taking. A lot of this is kind of taken from Havoc's guide on leveling as Duelist. So if you want more information on leveling as this class, and some more detailed information on that, check out Havoc. I'll have a link in the description below. He has a really detailed and very good guide on leveling as pretty much every class. He's really good at that. But I've adapted it a little bit so that it's not as expensive to respec, because the way he paths, it's going to cost like 100 respec points or some crazy shit to do it. With this one, it's about 39, so it's still quite a few respecs. But we get about 20 from the campaign, and then you can just use gold for the rest. So it's not that bad, but yeah, keep in mind there is a fair bit of respecking if you level up as Sunder. I don't know if you can really level up as Dual Strike. I mean, maybe you can, but I feel like that would be pretty rough. You know, until you get, like, Dual Strike's awful unless you get Melee Splash, so you kind of need Tribal Fury. So I guess you could rush that if you really want to play Dual Strike the whole way, but yeah, I don't really recommend it. I think Sunder's just way better. So, you know, but to each their own. If you want to level up as that, you can. You know, but yeah, the PoB has very detailed sets of gear and tree and all that stuff, and it has the endgame tree as well and endgame gear. This is probably, honestly, if you're really quick, you can get this day 2, day 3, because it's not that expensive stuff. It's Paradoxica, which is obviously, this one might be expensive, maybe a few divines. Obviously, you have to get the exact mods on the Paradoxica for this to really work. So the specific ones we're looking for is increased fizz plus impale, as well as increased crit chance. So both of those we have to unveil from the Paradoxica, or you can just buy it unveiled already, but probably pretty expensive to do it that way. I think you just buy it unveiled and hopefully you hit it. Obviously, if you don't hit it, then rip your currency, but you know, it's not super rare to hit that. I don't think. I mean, I don't know. There's a fair bit of mods, but it's up to you if you want to gamble it or not. But either way, you know, you don't need it, like I showed here, level 70 to 93, just kind of going through maps and all that. You're having plenty of damage. Let me get the loadout correct. 6.7 mil damage is more than enough, I'd say, to clear pretty much everything. And then, yeah, you get up to 20 plus mil pretty easily. You know, you don't have that much. So Rizos's as well. Rizos's is a little expensive, probably like 120 C to start, but that's not too bad, right? It's still less, maybe about a divine, right? And I think it might be cheaper this league. I don't think Bleed's going to be very popular. Pretty much everyone's playing Volcanic Fissure or Snaking, which is fair. It's a really crazy skill. I might even play that, to be honest. But I wanted to PoB this because I was thinking Champion looks pretty nuts, especially if you, in late game, do some armor stacking or maybe Fortify stacking shenanigans. I actually made a armor stacking PoB for this champ as well, which I can put in the description. It's not really detailed or anything in terms of like leveling it, because I don't think you can really level as it. If anything, you would maybe level this build and then swap into an armor stacker or something like that. But yeah, I can put the PoB in the description if you guys want to see it. But basically, pros and cons of playing dual strike. So I haven't really played much of it myself. I was just PoBing this just because I wanted to, again, figure out something for champion, and it looked really strong. But the thing is with dual strike is it's a strike skill, so that's already kind of a negative. And it's a strike skill where you have to be in melee range. You know, it's not one of those strike skills where you're basically lightning strike or some shit. Like you're still just a, you know, a caster almost. You have to go into melee, and so strike range is actually really nice. That's why I try to grab as much strike range as I can. And it's got a bit of a weird sound. I was doing a test on a champion that I had, like a random level 90 champion with crap gear, and it was really like clunky, the sound. You know, it was like clink, 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 clink. Not a huge fan of that. I don't know. But maybe if you don't give a shit, that is, you don't have to worry about it. But yeah, it's the clear speed's okay. You know, when I was testing it, the damage was pretty good for, you know, getting the crap gear that I had. Tankiness, it's okay. I mean, you can see here in the end game, we have 16k max fizz hit, and then around 37k for the elemental damage hits, and 67k effective pool. Because I keep the evade. You can go iron reflexes if you're bossing, to just have a better max hit for fizz. Usually it's probably better for bossing, but when you're mapping, you want some avoidance, you know, so you don't just get shotgunned by 30 projectiles and die immediately. But yeah, definitely not the tankiest character, I will say. So if you're really looking for something super tanky, I don't think this is really it. But it's pretty tanky. So it's using Petrified Blood, meaning that we basically get Overleech, just kind of by default, as long as we don't have, you know, more than 50% life reserved. And I actually set it at 56 or 58 in this case, but as long as you have above 55, because I'm taking this node where we get another 5% life basically as a result of it. And yeah, as long as you don't have it below that, you'll always be under, you know, you'll always be low life, and you'll also be able to overleech. So, you know, as long as you have a little bit unreserved life. And then we can also proc adrenaline really easily as a result of that, using corrupted blood, or corrupting fever, I should say. So when you use corrupting fever, it costs a bunch of life. This should actually be higher level. You need it to be, you know, somewhat high level. You don't need it to be super high, but you need to cost enough life so that you go below 55%. And the big thing, and the kind of the weird thing as well, is you have to have an instant flask, at least a little bit, like a bubbling or something, so that you go above 50%, or 55% in our case, and then you pop corrupting fever. Because if you don't do that, then you're always going to be low life, and it doesn't really count. Like, you have to become low life. So you have to be above low life, and then become low life to be to get adrenaline. So a little janky there, but it's obviously worth it. I mean, it lasts 20 seconds, so it's not the worst thing. And yeah, adrenaline's insane. So, but yeah, it's gonna be pretty good, I'd say, as a league starter. Like I said, gear is pretty cheap. You know, nothing super crazy, and you can start it from level 1 to pretty much level 90. Of course, I level as Sunder is what I'd recommend, anyways. But when you dual strike, you do the swap. Let me show you the swap here. I don't really have the swap in here, but it's fine. Essentially, yeah, you're just using Frostbreath for the double damage, and Ichimonji just because it's a really good sword, and it's really cheap. And you need a sword because we need frenzy charges and the impale chance. Impale chance is really important. We're also anointing impale on our amulets, the merciless skewering, because again, we need impale chance from everything. You can also get it on gauntlets a little bit. Before these, you can even use the Great Old One's tentacles for more impale chance. It's pretty dang good. Plus it gives you some pretty good fizz damage. So you can see even this thing is actually more damage right now for me, just because it gives me that crazy amount of impale. But we need suppress. So, you know, eventually we want to hit 100% suppression, and the gloves help with that. And we can also get non-veil strike skills target one additional enemy, which is also really good for clear. It just makes the build feel better. So you definitely want to at least get one of those. And there's also a cluster jewel setup, which cluster jewels are really OP for this build because of quick and deadly, which is an insane node. It's like 20% more damage per node or some crazy thing like that. It's or 15%. I don't know. It's a ton of damage. But yeah, and you can get 2 of those with cluster jewels. So you just kind of drop the left side of the tree here and slot those in. You'll see, you know, our damage goes up like crazy, right? So, you know, but cluster jewels are a little expensive to craft. Yeah, it's like another 20 mil. But they're a little expensive to craft, so it's more of a later game thing, but it's fun to show. You know, you can get up to 43.5 mil again with the same gear, just with some slightly better jewels, cluster jewels specifically. So yeah, build can scale pretty well, to say the least, and this isn't the top end of the build at all. You know, 46 or 43 mil. I'm sure it can go higher than that, with, you know, maybe some Watcher's Eyes and some Forbidden Flesh jewels, or who knows what. But I think at that point, you're probably better off just to start doing like armor stacking or fortify stacking and kind of getting into some of that stuff instead. But up to you if you want to keep pushing it. But yeah, cluster jewels are the final kind of step for the build. Other than that, yeah, nothing crazy. So give it a try, guys. If you're looking for a good bosser, I'd say especially. But if you're looking for a good mapper, I don't know if it's the best build for that. So it's up to you guys on what you're looking for. But I think it should be good. Now, I'm not necessarily playing this for League Start. I was thinking about it, but I still have to think more. Got another week to plan some PoBs, so I'll probably do some more of those. You know, I'm thinking Champion, but, you know, we'll see. But definitely this would be a good way of playing Champion, and especially transitioning into like an Aura Stacker, Armor Stacker, stuff like that. And which I think could be really good with the Mercenaries, right? Because if we're giving the Mercenaries our auras and all that stuff, they can become really strong. Plus, we can give them the Fortify, right? Since now this is going to give us some pretty nice stuff, plus the Fortify sharing. So anyways, let me know what you guys think of doing this kind of build. And if you guys have any tips on if you played it, maybe last league or anything like that. Because I didn't play this build pretty much ever. I just did a bit of testing with it. And I just figured I'd PoB it, and I think it looks good. And I did some testing, you know, or research with PoE Ninja, which is the best way to kind of research a build. But yeah, of course, saying all that, take my build with a bit of a grain of salt, because, you know, I haven't fully tested this in like a League Start scenario. I know people have League Started this build before, or variations of it, so it should be okay. But, you know, don't I'm not gonna say like 100% endorse this. This is gonna be the best League Starter ever. I just think, you know, based on the gear levels and everything, it does enough damage to be good, and it's reasonably tanky, you know, for melee, reasonably tanky. Now again, I don't know. I could see it being frustrating in some ways where you just don't have enough mitigation, especially for spells. That's why, again, spell suppression is so important. But you're still going to be taking damage from all spells that hit you. And some spells, sometimes a monster will cast 10 different spells, you know, or 20 monsters will cast their spell onto you and just kind of shotgun you to death. So keep that in mind. Not insane recovery or anything, or defensives, but yeah, should be okay. But yeah, hope you guys enjoy the video, and good luck on your next League Starts. And keep an eye out for some more PRBs. I'll probably be releasing some more videos with build guides, depending on what I figure out. You know, I'm still thinking about what I want to play. I don't know if I want to do Volcanic Fissure or Snaking, since everyone is doing it, but man, it looks really good. I don't know. It's hard to beat it, so, but we'll see. Yeah, peace.